G'day guys, welcome back to Beyond. It's been a hot minute since I've been recording to you guys a video, and yeah, a lot's happened since I got back from Thailand. I know I've been posting a lot of, I guess, alternative media on this channel, but yeah, going forward, I want to be posting more content on Thailand, and today we're going to be looking at the Ghost Tower, which is something that I first saw when I rocked up, and I must admit it was an imposing sight. But yeah, going forward, guys, please like, subscribe. We're going to be posting more on this channel. I haven't forgotten about you guys, and being more, I guess, consistent with that. Sort of moved into a place now that I've got a desk and a monitor. Sorry if it's a bit echo in here. But yeah, so we'll get into the video, see how we go with the Ghost Tower.
Right behind me is the Satornini Tower. It's a luxury condo building that's 49 stories tall and has sat abandoned since 1998. Locally, it's known as the Bangkok Ghost Tower. For a lot of foreigners, this building is seen as nothing more than an urban playground, somewhere you can go and explore. And for a long time, it was a not so well kept secret. You could just bribe the security guard and head in. But to many Thais, this building has become a symbol of one of the most turbulent times in Thailand's history, the 1997 Asian financial crisis, known as the Tam Yuen Goon crisis. If the 97 financial crisis was the only thing that we had to talk about this building, the story would end there. I wouldn't be making this movie. But that's not it. There's the assassination attempt of the Chief Justice of the Thai Supreme Court, a hit movie. There's an international parkour team, suicide, and the bribing of security guards all go into this incredible story of this one building. We're gonna unpack all of that. But to do that, we actually have to go all the way back to before the 97 financial crisis to a time of Thailand's greatest prosperity. And that's where this story begins.
It's funny because when I first went to Thailand and you're coming over that bridge and I saw the tower, it's an imposing, building, and I just found it so eerie, knowing that, there had been, I guess, foreigners going into that building, loitering, free climbing, doing parkour on the building, on the roof at the very top. And unfortunately, there had been a couple of deaths there as a result. And I think one suicide, sadly enough. But yeah, there's a common theme in Southeast Asia where a lot of people just, jump off balconies or fall from balconies intoxicated on drugs or just plain suicide. So it's really sad. But yeah, it's something that when I first went to Bangkok, I just think of this ghost tower and being inquisitive and curious. That's why I wanted to do this video on the ghost tower.
From the 80s until the 90s, Bangkok's economy was booming. This growth was more than 9% a year, and for some years even more. This lasted for more than a decade. During this time of economic growth, there was massive real estate development going on. And this is where the real story of the Ghost Tower begins. To better understand this time, I jumped on a call with Dr. Dan. He's a Thai economist and a former Bangkok gubernatorial candidate. He understands this time way more than I ever could.
1987 to 1990, the GDP growth was 11.7%, I think. And now export growth was very, very big, 20% per year. Therefore, because of all these factors, apart from the FDI, foreign direct investment that come in largely, the baht devaluation, we also have canceled the export tax measure. We used to tax export at that time, but we canceled that. And by having that, we were really doing well. And also we allowed the capital inflow in 1989, I believe to 1995. Our capital inflow came strongly, become 11% of the GDP, which grow very fast. The capital inflow, which was only 3% in the previous period, we jumped from 3% capital inflow to 11% of GDP. And then we were allowing the free flow of capital. We also have the situation with the interest rate, Thailand, which is higher than the rest of the world, particularly overseas. Therefore, foreign investment come a lot, money flow in, and we have allowed the private sector to do the foreign loans, and the loan came in huge number. Liquidity increased massively in the whole economy, and we also allow some of the facilities for international banking to allow many privileges, tax privileges, for example. And so those are some of the background during the period that caused Thailand to grow.
I also talked to Jib because she lived it. She was a teenager during the end of the economic boom and during the financial crisis, so her formative years were shaped by these events.
Before financial crisis, 1997, everything here like fine, looks nice. You see like new condo building start there, and people has money that time, really. Like they can go like have vacation overseas, can buy like can invest in stock. Oh yeah, stock market that time very big. But after financial crisis, everything kind of crashed. So for my family, my father has to close his business because no new project, no client, because their company closed too. So no job, no money that time, and with the debt.
So interesting that back in the 90s, this happened in Southeast Asia and Thailand. But we're actually entering that stage now here in the West and all over the world, in that same financial sort of situation where there's a lot of, I guess, people undecided what's going to happen going forward, and a lot of unease in the markets, not only here in Australia, but also in the US, the UK, and so forth. Even Thailand is seeing a decline in tourism because of people from other countries not having that disposable income to pay for a holiday, because they're only just trying to pay their house off um, as a result. So there's definitely a flow-on effect, and there's definitely some, I guess, key takeaways from this video we can sort of implement in the current day as well.
Lucky that my mom, she is a nurse, so she keep her job. She still get a job, go to work every day. But I'm not sure at that time if the hospital reduced the pay or not. I cannot remember. That time I'm in high school, about to like graduate, and it's like, oh, what one thing I remember, we kind of have a plan. Okay, how much we can pay for food every month. We have to plan it well, which just never happened before that. That's what I remember. Some of my friends has to like give up education for a short period, that they have to go to work and make money to help family. Yes, that time.
During this economic boom in Thailand, Bangkok as a city is really beginning to blossom. This is where it's becoming the metropolis that we know it as today. And buildings are starting to spring up all over the place, skyscrapers and shopping malls. And this one architect is starting to really stand out. He's becoming known for this style that sort of oozes 1990s opulence. And that is Rangsin Tersawan, the designer of Saturn Unique. Rangsin studied architecture at Thailand's top university, Chulalongkorn. And then he went to a little school in America out on the East Coast for grad school. You might have heard of it, MIT. After grad school at MIT, he moves back to Bangkok and sets up shop and quickly starts to become a major player in Bangkok's real estate development. Rangsin's style was unique to say the least. I've seen it described by his peers as an unrestrained mixing of styles. While his style may not have held up over the test of time with his peers, for better or worse, it helped him to establish a name. People recognize his buildings when they saw them. Now, two of his buildings that I think really stand out and exemplify his style are Amaran Plaza, which is a shopping mall in the Chitlom section of Bangkok, and it's adorned with these pseudo-Greek columns, and it has an office tower behind it. The second is what would have been Saturn Unique's sister building, and that is State Tower. It's got these curved balconies with columns on them. You may recognize this tower from the Hangover 2 movie, where
That was what I was just going to mention. That building is like 68 floors up in the air, going up an elevator, and that's where they filmed The Hangover, as you just mentioned now.
the sky bar on the top called the Bua has this unmistakable golden dome that's difficult to miss. And if you're in that part of the city, you can essentially pick out that golden dome from anywhere. Let's jump forward to 1990. Rangsin begins construction on Saturn Unique. To do this, he's encouraged by the Thai government to borrow in US dollars, as are numerous other property developers and businesses. The Thai government wants them to do this because it will bring foreign money into the country. And the government is telling these developers and businesses that it's safe because they've pegged the baht to the US dollar at a fixed exchange rate.
The interest rate overseas was so low. I think the number is something like 5% interest rate on average. The Thai interest rate domestically was 14 to 17%. Therefore, there's a huge gap between the interest rate in Thailand domestically and overseas interest rate. Therefore, it makes sense for the business community to borrow from overseas, which is in US dollars, which is the world currency. Thailand want to grow the economy, then we need the money to come in, capital inflow to grow our economy, to invest in many things, and it's conducive interest rate gap. Hence, where do we lend our money to in borrowing US dollars into investment in Thai economy? There's a lot of real estate investment. We found that real estate is a major sector that really benefits at that time from.
It's amazing the structures and the capabilities that Thailand has to build such massive buildings. Very much like America with the Empire State Building or even the Twin Towers back in the day. You know, to have that development is fantastic and something that is just marveled, and that's why Bangkok is like the Southeast Asia hub um, and the main spot that a lot of people go to. I'm going to skip forward just to a part where they talk a lot about the sort of financial side, which I mean, I'm going to link this video down below so you guys can go back and watch it. But there was just a little piece somewhere around here where it shows what people are doing in terms of climbing the building. So I thought I'd just skip to that part.
Things would really kick up a notch when members of professional parkour Team Farung, Jason Paul and Sean Wood.
Yeah, so these guys were like doing like parkour and climbing up there to like massive heights. That's the very top of the building, as you could see. That's their GoPro footage. And yeah, I'll let him explain it in further detail.
would make their way into the building and create a video of them doing parkour on this abandoned structure that went absolutely viral.
The interesting thing for me was it went super viral in Thailand. Like it started getting played on a bunch of the news stations over there, and it was a bit controversial. And I remember sitting at a restaurant with my friend's brother one day, and we sort of looked up at the news, and mine and Jason's faces were just planted on the TV screen. And he kind of looked at me and he's like, "I guess you guys have done it." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Well, you're on the news in Thailand, so well done." And it was part of a time where we were putting a lot of content on YouTube. So that video was one of the ones that just hit and popped, and then we got media exposure, and then suddenly like everyone within my network that kind of knew we did parkour, it was like the video that, because it was dangerous and it made people's palms sweaty.
Oh man, my palms are sweating right now. Like looking at that, just one bit of breeze from the Chao Phraya River, which is just back down there. I mean, that's just, yeah, that's crazy. I don't have the balls to do that. I'm not I'm not brazen enough to do something like that. That's for sure. That's crazy. But yeah, another thing that I don't think he mentions in this video, he may have, I just can't remember. But yeah, there's a lot of nefarious acts that went on in that building over time, from sacrifices to, I don't want to say satanic rituals, but there were odd things that were found by police and law enforcement there in Bangkok in relation to that. Um, yeah, just a lot of, yeah, just seedy behavior in general in that area. But yeah, this sort of parkour stuff's crazy.
And there was a couple of really dangerous moves up there. It was the one that our friends that didn't quite know what we were doing, it was the one they were able to show people and kind of go like, "This is the cool thing my friends are doing." And it was kind of cool to see our faces planted on the news. Yeah, it was a fun experience.
The video blowing up no doubt put way more pressure on Panson, and he ended up filing an official complaint with the Bangkok police against Jason and Sean, including pictures or screenshots from the video itself. No doubt placing the two of them in the center of a controversy I'm sure they never expected to be in.
Because of the sort of media exposure that we got, the owner of the building apparently filed a court case against us. And so there was a couple of different videos that they found and sort of said, these guys are crazy, they shouldn't be doing it. The thing was, we never really were doing anything we weren't supposed to until we weren't supposed to. And what I mean by that is, really early on, we weren't navigating around the security officers. Like, we were going up, we were saying hello. They started putting lights up the center of the staircase at one point because they were making so much money out of it. It wasn't until suddenly the owner of the building must have caught on that things sort of escalated a little bit, but we never directly had anyone contact us. It was sort of, we saw the same news article that everyone else did, and I think we even sort of went back and paid a security guard after that again. and mine and Jason's faces were sort of planted on the side of the building at that stage.
It's crazy that, yeah, the security guards, they didn't mind as long as things didn't come back to them. If money was involved, it's all good. It's a free, happy country. If money's exchanged, it's all good. But it's a lot tighter now. People or YouTube vloggers that have gone to that site, it's all guarded, shut down completely. You can still get in there, but it'd be pretty tough to get in there. They've got dogs now. They've got barbed wire fencing. Yeah, it's not a walk in the park.
It wasn't long after that video went viral, where it became basically impossible to get entry into the ghost tower. All the interior doors had been chained or welded shut, and the security guards weren't accepting bribes anymore to let people in. No doubt there was immense pressure placed on them to not let this happen anymore. I reached out to Pansit, the current owner and son of the original developer of the ghost tower, asking if he would be interested in doing an interview for this movie. And to my surprise, he actually got back to me, but basically to tell me he was reluctant to talk about it. And I can really understand why. He's an
I'm just going to fast forward it to the next bit where there's some sort of paranormal mention.
surprise to no one. More recently, Pansit wrote a book. And this book basically talks about his father's involvement in the project, the charges against him, the financial crisis, sort of the what went on financially to cause the project to go insolvent. Ian talks about some of the projects that he's allowed to take place in the building, including the Thai horror movie, The Promise. The Promise was a 2017 release. It fit well with the story of the financial crisis and the backdrop of that movie. I don't want to give too much away. If you like horror movies, the Thai movie industry does horror better than most, so I would definitely recommend checking it out. But it really fit, and I'm glad that he sort of allowed it to be used, because it did give an interesting context, especially to Bangkokians or people who have visited that area and seen the building. It added a little bit to the lore though. So for someone trying to distance himself and who doesn't want people visiting it, that was an interesting choice on his part. To try and flush out what really makes this building so iconic, what draws people to it, I got in touch with Dax Ward. He's a world-renowned Urban X photographer. He has an amazing collection of work of these abandoned places around the world, the Ghost Tower included.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I saw it, so many questions popped to mind, like, what is that place? What happened there? And then, you just start hearing stories from friends about going up and watching the sunrise or the sunset, and how amazing it was when you're, surrounded by Labua Grande or State Towers, fancy, expensive restaurant and bar, and all these high-so upscale places. And then you've got where you can go and watch the sunset or whatever. But this place is different. This is, almost free. You can just go up and there's nobody there, and it's got its own special vibe. I think the Ghost Tower is so compelling for so many people, and garners so much attention in this region and around the world, because it's become kind of an icon. I mean, first of all, the location, it's right in the city center, right? A place that has many city centers. This is the place that everybody sees as they drive downtown around the Silom Sathorn area, or they ride the BTS across the Pantaksian. Everybody sees it. Local people see it, tourists see it. Everybody that lives in Bangkok has seen it at least once, and it just sticks out. It's unavoidable. You can't just turn away and ignore it. It's always there. And so therefore that alone is going to garner a lot of attention. The fascination lies in just this enormous shell, grungy concrete skeleton amongst what are some pretty nice buildings, State Towers right there next to it. And it's, glistening and white and bright and, modern and all that. But this one is just, I think the size of it and the scale, and also the history, the recent history, and the history in the last 20, 25 years now since it's been abandoned. The fascination in abandoned places in general has a lot to do with the questions that you ask when you see pictures or videos of places like that. It's all about the questions, right? What is that place? Where is it? How did you get in there? What's the history of that place? What happened there? What's going to happen to it in the future, right? And this is, no different than any other abandoned place in that respect, but, just more so because it's not in the middle of the countryside. It's right in the middle of the city.
When I first saw it, it's actually right next door to the Shangri-La, and so I could see outside of my hotel window, and yeah, it's just got that eerie vibe to it. You can sort of feel like someone, or there's so many sort of spaces there that a ghost or something could look out from. And when I was last in Thailand, they had like Dracula on the side of the building, so. Yeah, very, very, very strange.
One thing I thought was really interesting that Dax talked about and that we sort of geeked out about a bit was our appreciation of street art and how he really likes when he finds these abandoned places and there's this really high quality, unique street art or murals that are done inside. And he said he saw a lot of that inside Saton Unique, inside the Ghost Tower, which made it an even more special experience for him.
So yeah, he sort of finishes up with the rest of the video, just sort of mentioning a little bit more of the history. But I will link this video in the description below so you guys can go and check out the full 37 minutes. But what do you guys reckon? Comment down below, like and subscribe. I'll definitely be back with some more Bangkok or strange content, or even just some real world content happening in the world. But until next time, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.